Hi guys, I'm Justin Cole. I'll be your mediator today. I see you have water. Dr. Jankowski, do you have any water?
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Katie, you good with everything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm assuming you guys know each other as student and professor. Did you guys see the Scott Kelly landing? I know you guys are both like in the sciences and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that?
One of my friends who's a real big nerd. He's really big on that, and he was telling me all about it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
The centrifugal pole of the Earth and the orbiting around the Earth actually made Mr. Kelly taller when he landed, and they had to elongate his spine back out, and he went even taller. That's what zero gravity does that when you start talking about the physics behind it.
Yeah, I was reading something today that said like he's adjusting to Earth pretty badly actually. It's like skin is like crawling or whatever. I thought I wanted to go to space, but I guess not. So Miss Katie, Dr. Jankowski, let me start off by just telling you like my credentials so you feel confident in this process. I completed my undergraduate degree here at North Central, and then I went to law school at Northwestern, and I have been a certified mediator in the state of Illinois for 10 years now. I came back to North Central because I like it. It's my alma mater. So, do you guys know how the mediation process kind of goes?
I do not.
Okay. So I am basically just an unbiased third party, and I'm trying to investigate what is behind the conflict here, and that I'm helping you two try to figure out an agreement by yourselves. I can't make an agreement for you, and I can't be making anything binding unless you guys agree to it. Okay? So, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Alright, is there any guidelines that you guys want to set for this mediation? Like, no talking over each other?
No interruptions would be useful.
Maybe respect.
Anything else? I'm going to go close that door first real quick. Okay. Alright, we're good. Alright, since Miss Katie is bringing forth the problem, if you'd like to start with your opening statement.
Yes. All right. Well, I am a pre-med major here at North Central College. I need a 3.5 GPA in order to go to medical school. And right now I have Dr. Jankowski as my chemistry teacher, and I currently have a 75% in the class. And that's because in the syllabus, Dr. Jankowski says that we can't flip our quiz papers over like to the front. Like he'll give it to us like on the blank side.
Mm-hmm.
He wants us to not turn them over to start the quiz until he says so, until all the quizzes are out. And me, just by I don't know, like habit, I flipped my quiz over too soon just to write my name, because you want to write your name first so you don't lose touch of what of that, so you don't forget. And he pretty much took my quiz away and thought I was cheating or something, and gave me a 0 on it, and so that affected my grade a lot. And then I also had a lab report that I did on time. It was a great lab report. I worked for a very long time on it. And those are usually worth like 50 points. And because of, I didn't have a stapler. I didn't have the paper stapled when I handed it in. So what I did is I found a stapler and I took the paper out of the stack of papers that was in like the completed stack. And I went and stapled it and put it back, and then Dr. Jankowski took 10 points off of that because I handed it in late when really I already handed it in. I was just putting a staple on it.
Okay.
So.
Alright, so what I'm hearing you say is you're a pre-med major, you need a 3.5 GPA for med school, you're getting a 75 in the class, and you were penalized for writing your name prematurely on a test, and you received a late grade for a missing staple on the lab report.
Yes.
Is there anything I missed?
No, that's it.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski, you can respond.
Yes, well, I am Dr. Jankowski. I'm a tenured professor here at North Central College in the science department, specifically chemistry. I received my PhD in chemistry from the University of Wisconsin, and have been teaching chemistry here for quite some time with impressive results of students moving on to become great professionals. In my syllabus, my rules and priorities are clearly outlined, and I have set standards that I need all students to follow. This ensures greater success, individual success, as well as class success, and better coercion between classmates and labs and group projects. I outline a few main points in my syllabus: priorities, punctuality, and preparedness. These are important to me because I believe they are essential in determining a successful student. I believe that Ms. Getty did not properly follow the rules outlined in the syllabus that she was aware of.
Okay. So, Ms. Katie, why do you feel that this should be addressed? I mean, obviously your academics are the main concern for you.
I think the reason why that point's taken off is completely unfair. Because I had the stuff, like, turned in, like, I was just writing my name, I wasn't cheating or anything.
Okay. And you said you had the lab report completely done?
Yeah.
Just the staple was missing?
Yeah, just a staple.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski, how much are these quizzes and lab reports?
The quiz that was started early was worth 10 points, and the lab report was worth another 10 points, totaling 20 points in all.
How many points are usually in, like, a term?
Well, the points are weighted differently, but there's usually about 300 points in a test overall.
So you're not saying, 10 points is roughly like 3% of a grade, it could be differently?
Right, it could be different.
Okay.
The quiz was not weighted as heavily as the lab report because more time was spent on the lab report.
And how many credit hours is your class worth?
3.
Okay, for 3. Alright. Ms. Kay, did you know how much, what your current GPA is, if I can ask?
It's a 3.5.
3.5 right now?
Oh, wait. No.
Or is that what you need?
That's what I need,
Okay.
yeah. I have a 2.8.
2.8, okay. So what I'm hearing you saying is you're a little bit off of your target right now.
Yes.
What year are you in school?
I am a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, okay. So it's looking like you have some time to bounce back here. So Dr. Jankowski, do you feel that the weight of the punishment was sufficient for what Miss Katie had done?
Yes, I do believe that to be the case, given that my rules were outlined in the syllabus prior to the first day of class.
Do you have a copy of that syllabus by chance?
Yes, I
Okay. Could you outline on here where it says anything about stapling or turning the test over?
guidelines. All tests will be handed out face down. Tests shall not be turned over until every student has received a test.
Okay.
And then lab work shall be turned in punctual at the time assigned prior to each submission, as well as with all the qualifications discussed prior. So specifically, it doesn't say, but the qualifications for the lab report were discussed prior to the turn-in date with the class in its entirety.
So I'm gonna try to set up an agenda for us so that we can get this resolved. What would you? So what I'm hearing you guys say is there were rules. Basically, you do acknowledge that there were rules set,
Oh yeah.
but that the rules may have been too steep or too harsh.
Yes.
Okay. So do we want to start there with the rules of the class?
I mean, yeah, that's something.
That's okay with you, Judge?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in your syllabus, it obviously says about the quiz turnover and stuff like that. With the staple, that's a little bit more hit or miss there. It's not clearly stated. Did you say you taped the corner of the?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I actually did take the corner beforehand, and
And you turn it in.
then it turned it in, and then because I found a stapler, I was like, oh, I could just take it out, staple it super quick. It's not like I'm changing anything. I'm just putting the staple in, and
Okay.
then put it back.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski, did you see her put the report into the stack of papers that were done?
Initially, yes.
Yes. Okay.
The first time, put it in incorrectly without a staple.
Did you say you were going to try to find a stapler or something like that, or did you just leave it
I just left it.
to have it be turned in and then found a stapler later? Okay. Okay. Dr.
The communication would have been nice in regards. I saw her turn it in initially. However, it was turned in incorrectly, and then she did not communicate with me that she was going to alter her submission by stapling it.
Okay. So do you acknowledge that there was everything in the report that was needed, necessary for grading the report on the basis of the lab?
Yes, the content of the work was complete in its entirety.
Okay, so it was just the staple.
Correct. It was not. It did not adhere to the standards discussed prior to the submission date.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that even though all the academics of the paper were complete, since the paper was not stapled correctly and turned in on time, or stapled on time, it was not complete.
Yes.
Okay. And you believe that the academic portion of said report should be penalized because of a staple?
Yes, because all the qualifications have to be met for the lab to be considered gradable, and all the qualifications were not met.
Okay. Ms. K, do you have anything to respond to that?
Just in my eyes, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's just kind of ridiculous because it's just a staple. It's not like I was adding like information or like stuff like that. So it's kind of hard. Like I could kind of see it why with the quiz, because like that is his rule, and like it was just out of habit. But with the lab, it just kind of. To me, it's just kind of ridiculous.
Okay. Which happened first, the quiz or the report?
The quiz.
Okay. So do we want to talk about the quiz now?
Yeah, we can talk about the quiz.
Yeah, sure.
The rules.
Okay. So you were passing out the quizzes face down, and Miss Katie turned it over.
Before every student had a quiz placed on the desk.
Okay. You claimed that it was just instinct to write your name on it,
Yes.
and you caught yourself before you went any farther.
Yeah, I
Took
just
it back over.
I started writing my name and then I kind of caught myself and then turned it back over, but he saw.
Dr. Jankowski, in your opinion, what could you have been seeing happen?
I was seeing a nervous student who wanted to perform well on a quiz start early.
Okay.
And if the intention was still good at heart, meaning only to write a name, it is still the action that took place, not the intention.
How long do you think you had the quiz turned over for?
Maybe 4 seconds.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski, when you confiscated the quiz, was it just the name on there? Was that what was on the quiz at the time?
Yes, the name was unfinished.
Okay. And so you said these quizzes are only worth 10 points. So is that a big hit against someone's grade? Can they bounce back easily from that, or is that kind of?
Well, because the quiz is weighted differently, I would say it is easier to bounce back with the quiz, with missing those 10 points. It is still difficult given the limited number of points in the course.
And you just made these rules because you feel discipline is important.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I feel the discipline and following set standards is important.
Ms. Kay, did you think this was also a little too harsh of a punishment, just because you're writing your name?
I mean, for writing my name, yeah. I mean, I can completely understand if I started the quiz, which I didn't. But just for writing my name, I think, I feel like it's not, I feel like Dr. Jankowski isn't being as understanding about it as, it's out of habit rather than me. I wasn't trying to start it early. It literally was just me writing my name.
Ms. Katie, what would you like out of this in an agreement?
For me, of course, I would like all of the points back that I lost because of the quiz and because of the staple.
And this is just all the points back on the report that you want?
And maybe another opportunity to take the quiz or an extra credit, kind of.
Would you say you want a second opportunity, so a chance to retake the test?
Yes.
And Dr. Jankowski, what would you like to see?
Obviously I had rules laid out. I don't enjoy making exceptions because it sets a dangerous precedent for other students to bend the rules. But obviously my student has expressed concern and has persevered, and obviously willing to openly discuss her grades and her performance, and for that I am at least willing to sit down and hear her out.
So you want to keep a good student-teacher
I would
relationship.
like to create a better understanding between the two of us, where I come from, and also understand where my student is coming from, because I believe it will help me better understand my students in the future students as well.
Now, Dr. Jankowski, I am going to take a quick caucus with Kate, about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I will bring you back into the room. And then Kate, you will have a turn to have a private discussion with me as well.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll be chatting. All right, Kate. So, again, you just feel it is unfair that Dr. Jankowski is just like doing this.
Yeah.
What are your personal feelings about Dr. J? Do you have a good relationship?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great professor. I mean, his class is a little difficult, but I think any chemistry classes at the college level. But besides that, I mean, he seems like, I don't know, I feel like he's just too strict.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, I feel like he could be easier on us because, you know, it's not like chemistry is the only class we're taking.
Yeah. How like long would you say you spend on assignments for chemistry, or like just chemistry, the course in general? How long do you spend?
On assignments, it honestly depends because lab reports take maybe like 5 hours
Okay.
or something.
So you're putting a significant
Yes.
amount of time
Yes, definitely.
into these reports, and you just feel that like a staple isn't
Yeah.
really grading like upon that.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you like a pen?
I would. Thank you very much. Okay. And then quizzes. Do you think these quizzes are they easy, hard? Like how many quizzes does he usually have?
He gives maybe like 3 quizzes at like before the midpoint, 3 quizzes after the midpoint.
Okay, so about 6 a term.
Yeah.
Okay. How long do these quizzes take?
It depends because sometimes he wants us to like do case, like describe like the labs that we do, and in those quizzes they definitely take longer to complete, but probably like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Okay. So when he confiscated the tests, were you asked to leave the classroom, or did you stay in the classroom?
I was asked to leave.
Did any of your fellow students ask what happened, stuff like that?
Well, they kind of all saw it happen because it was in front of everyone. So, I mean, I don't know if they saw me turn the paper over, but, yeah, my friends did ask what happened.
Okay, did you tell them?
Yeah, I told them because I feel like it was kind of, like, unfair in a way. So I told them, and they thought it was unfair as well because, like, I would never cheat on a test. Like, I'm not that kind of student to do that.
Do your friends, do they kind of share the same thoughts about Dr. Jankowski on how he's? You claim okay, so it's kind of a general consensus that he's a little bit tougher of a grader.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how well he's like? There are professor rankings. Have you ever seen that Rate My Professor
Yes.
online thing? Have you seen Dr. Jankowski's at all?
Yeah. He didn't get the best ranking. I mean, some people, of course, like loved him, like probably because they like followed his strict rules and stuff like that. But a lot of people thought he was really strict and unfair when it came to certain things.
Have you spoken out, like, to your friends or, like, other staff members or something like that about Dr. Jankowski?
Well, actually, I work in admissions, and I actually told a couple of my coworkers that are also students here, because some of them are also in are studying pre-med, and like my boss sometimes comes and sit with us, and like I mentioned it, like when we were talking about it, she was happening to sit there, so she heard about it too. She thought it was kind of ridiculous as well.
Now, did you go to the chair before this, the chemistry chair before? I think we did, because Dr. Bjorklund was the one that set this up.
Okay.
So what did he say to you?
Well, it's tough because I know that they're close, like they're friends, because they're both in the department. So I know going to him was very tough and kind of intimidating, because I felt like I was gonna lose this conflict. But he pretty much just said that I just have to talk to him and see what I could do. Like there was nothing that he could really do about it.
Okay, so pretty much whatever Dr. Jankowski says goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is you don't see Dr. Jankowski changing it because you just think he's basically he's stuck to a certain standard of rules
Yes.
and stuff like that. You think this is the last way, like the last shot that you can take.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna bring Dr. Jankowski now. If you could go outside to my office. We have our refreshments there. Alright, so Dr. Jankowski, how long have you been here in North Central College?
About 11 years.
Oh, 11 years, okay. Do you have your tenure by now?
Yeah.
How do you generally feel about your students' perceptions of you?
I would say my students appreciate me. We're taught as professors to not go on the websites like ratemyprofessor.com, so I never have. But from the students that come in to my office hours and talk to me, they're glad I'm there to help. For the most part.
Okay, generally how many of your, like, just spitballing here, what kind of percentage of students come to your office hours to seek help?
It depends on the class. I would say in this specific class that the student was in, roughly 5% of students maybe.
Okay, is Kate one of those students?
Yeah, she came to see me to address concern, obviously, about her quiz and the lab report.
But has she come in for like help on assignments and stuff like that?
Not regularly, but she has been in before to gain clarification over an assignment. Yes.
Okay, so it's clear that she does care about her grade and wants help.
Yes.
Okay. Do you perform any kind of curve towards the end of the year, or is what the grade the students have, is that what they finish with?
I've never curved a final grade. I've curved tests before, rarely, but never really a curve on the final grade.
Now, how long is left this term? I think we're in week 6 now.
Yeah. So midterms just
Okay, so do you think Kate has like a chance to get her grade back up?
well, there's a 75 right now, I believe. It depends on the benchmark she would want to reach. If she wants to maintain a 3 point, if she wants to end up with a 3.5 GPA, like she suggested earlier, she'd have to get an A in the course, which is a 93% and is doable. It'd be extremely difficult and highly unlikely that any student in her position would be able to obtain such a grade with these missed points and whatnot. And even with the entirety of points back that she has missed between the 2 assignments in discussion, I would raise her overall grade to a little lower than a mid B, which would make it a lot more effective for her, a lot more likely for her to obtain that A. But she can still obtain it, yes, without those points.
Do you want anything said in this caucus to be held confidential, or are you opening to discussion? Like,
No, I'm opening for her to know everything I said. I mean, it's her points, it's her grade. She should be able to know what is possible to obtain.
are you open to there being a possibility of Kate gaining points back, say in like extra credit opportunities? I know chemistry and like the sciences, visual models are a good way for students to learn. And like a good example, Dr. Johnston of the bio department, he lets his kids make models for extra credit, and he'll actually use those in classes the following terms and stuff like that. Do you think Kate would be able to do something? Is chemistry something where you could make models for extra credit?
I'm sure if she were to suggest something, or suggest an opportunity, give me a number, as one might say, I'd be willing to talk, because she's obviously addressed concern about her grade and shows that she cares. But I'm not willing to give her an idea for my own sake. It's not worth my time. I'm willing to be here mainly because she showed concern, and I know she does care about her grade. And I am a professor who does value my students and their time and their ambitions, and that's why I'm here. So, but I'm not going to suggest an idea, but I am willing to talk about ideas that she might have.
Okay. With the quiz, are you willing to let her retake that? How long do your quizzes usually take?
About well, it depends really on the type of quiz, but I would say 15 minutes to half an hour, but usually closer to 15 to 20, 25 minute range.
Okay. Do you think Kate would be able to perform a retake of this quiz to possibly get those points back, or is it a little too late now?
I mean, once again, it depends on what she wants and what she brings me. I don't usually do that for students, but like I said, she showed concern, so I don't think I'd be willing to let her retake the quiz in its entirety.
Okay.
But maybe retake the quiz for partial credit, or take the quiz and earn full credit. But it would be under a more
Okay, so
You could say
just
the quiz would usually take 15-20 minutes. I, maybe throw out an offer. I wouldn't throw out an offer first. You'd obviously have to suggest something, but maybe something like, hey, you can take the quiz. You have 12 minutes. What you
Okay.
get is what you earn. Or you can have the full allotted time, the 20 minutes to take the quiz, and you can only earn up to 80% of, even if you get everything right, the highest grade you get is 80%. Or you can take it under constricted time frame and earn up to 100.
depending on how
she feels, what she wants. If that's the only thing she's asking for, obviously willing to say, possibly, yeah, you can take the quiz its entirety under the full allotted time if you only want the quiz, but there's also the lab that's weighted more heavily.
Okay. So with the report, no, it's just a stable, correct? So,
Yes.
would she have been fine if she would have just left the paper there and with the corner taped
No.
together?
Because that did not meet all the specific qualifications that we discussed prior to the session.
And you believe that
I
a staple is
would have counted off for the taped edges. However, I still would have graded it, but she would have lost points for the taped edge. What she did was take the paper out of the submission pile, then staple it, then turn it in. Very close, but it was late. It was late by a couple minutes, if that. It turned in properly, but late, which late to me is worse than improperly qualified.
okay. So it was the fact that she took it out of the pile, turned it back.
Took it out of the pile, turned it in after the specified.
What do you think, in respect to points, how much of a punishment would the taped edges be versus the grade?
Oh, the tape would be half point off, maybe two. Not half point, maybe 2 half points, totaling 1 point.
Do you feel like you could? You said you saw Kate turn in the.
Initially, yes, before the due date.
Do you think at the time that she took it out to staple it, that she could have made any crucial changes to the report?
Okay.
So do you think I'm just trying to help with agreement ideas.
Mhm.
Do you think there's a possibility that she could just be penalized maybe less severely? Like say she was only going to get a point off for the taped edges instead of a late grade.
Right, well, I never actually graded the lab because there was no need to because it didn't meet the qualifications. Depending on what she wants, I might be willing to grade the lab for what it's worth and allow her those points back, depending on how well she did on the lab.
Okay. So what you're saying, I just want to make this clear. You would be willing to maybe take the 10 points, give her the 10 points back. Is that what you're saying, or
If she earned them, I don't know how many out of the 10 she has earned. The contents were complete. However, were the contents correct? I still do not know. That would take grading to turn out. Because the 10 points are not a completion grade, they're based on correctness for the lab.
I thought was the lab not? I thought the lab was graded already, and that's when she found out the.
I did not grade it. She received 0 out of 10 points because it was turned in late. I never graded the lab
Okay.
for its. I'm assuming based on the quick glance I took at it, I would say she definitely received over 50%, no doubt.
Okay.
That number is probably closer to a 80% incorrectness just upon first glance.
Okay. So you're saying is 10% of basically the report just the completeness of it? Is that what you're kind of saying? And then the other 90% is solely the report itself,
It's based on
the content.
based on the content, the correctness of the content. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's more about 20% completion, and it depends on the lab. This lab specifically, let me think. We've had a few labs since then. This lab specifically, I think, was more about 40% following directions and the steps and techniques specified in the lab, and about 60% graded on criteria and the correctness of the content.
Okay. So you're willing to give her back points. Are you willing to give back all the points, or are you just going to revert back to what you would have given her for the taped edges?
I might be willing to give her all the points she earned. So it was complete. So out of the 10 points, if I were giving any points back, she would receive at least 4 for it being complete, because I do remember that. Based on correctness, I would say about from what 70 to 80% of her lab work was correct based on the quick glance I looked. It could be lower, it could be higher. So you had 3 points for that. Give her a 7 out of 10, just off that first glance based on completeness and correctness. But that could be higher based if it is more correct.
Okay. So the maximum amount out of the 10 points of completeness, what is that? Is that a 4? Is that 4 points, or is that like? Because earlier you said it was about 20% of the grade.
Depending on the lab, this lab was about 40. Completeness was about 40%.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it was complete. So it'd be about at least 4 points. Yeah.
And then the content.
And then the content would be graded on top of that.
So you're fully willing to forget about the staple, since she did not make any like changes to.
Depending on what she wants and what she is asking for.
Okay. I'm gonna bring her back in, and we can start trying to figure out an agreement between you two. I'm sure you have some classes to teach, so we want to get this done as efficiently as possible. Okay. All right, Miss Katie. We discussed earlier what kind of you said you wanted all the points back on the report and to retake the quiz. How do you plan on retaking the quiz? Do you feel like you should get the full allotted time?
It depends on what format the quizzes are.
What do you mean by
Like
that?
if it's like a long, like not essay, but like if I have to write like a couple paragraphs or something, of course I want more time. If it's like something like multiple choice, then of course less. But whatever would be reasonable.
Okay, Dr. Jankowski, do you remember what format that quiz was? Was it mostly short answer, or was it more multiple choice?
There were it was half. There were about let me think here, 7 multiple choice questions, if I remember correctly, and 3 problems, where you would have to calculate like the number of sig figs and whatnot, significant figures.
How long do you think the average was, like, to take? You said they're usually about 15 to 20
15
minutes.
to 20. Everybody finished within 22 minutes or something.
Okay. So, Kate, do you feel like you could? Well, this was brought up by Dr. Jim Kessler. Are you okay with discussing?
Sure.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski came up with maybe letting you take the quiz in a shorter amount of time. Either that or what was the other option? It was to
Take the quiz in the full amount of time that the other students received. But no matter how well you did, let's say you got a perfect, you would only be able to earn back a certain number of points. Or you would be able to take the quiz in its entirety and earn, if you got all correct, you would get 100%. However, the length of time would be decreased significantly from about 22 minutes to about 13 minutes.
when do you feel like she should take this? Should she, if this were to go down, should she take it tomorrow?
Well, today is Tuesday. We've been here for, it's been about a week or so since the quiz. It would have to be taken no later than Friday. So I would be able to grade it and enter it before the weekend.
Okay. Kate, do you think you'd be okay prepared for this kind of quiz?
Mhm.
Okay. So, would you like, what format would you like better? Would you like,
If I'm gonna get a shorter amount of time, I feel like it's okay if there's maybe like 2 short answers, but maybe do like mostly multiple choice.
okay.
Well, the format of the quiz will be the same. It will be 7 multiple choice and 3
Okay.
problem questions,
Yeah, that's
no matter what, because that is the quiz the other students took.
Okay, so would you like the reduced amount of time or the just automatic 80% is the maximum grade you can get?
I think reduce the amount of time would be better for me.
And you're okay with this, Dr. Jankowski? As long as it's before Friday?
Issuing a quiz before Friday with a reduced amount of time, with the possibility of earning full credit if the work is correct, then yes.
Now, in regards to the lab report, Kate, you said that you want all the points back because you did turn it in.
Mhm.
Okay. Dr. Jankowski, you said that what would have been the punishment if she just turned it in with the taped edges versus the
About
length staple?
about a half point.
Okay. So the difference here is roughly, so it was 4 points you said total?
No,
For completeness?
for at least completeness, yeah. It would be 4 points. And then I obviously never graded the content.
Okay, so the content is still yet to be graded. I'm still trying to understand the completeness grade. So
Basically, you have a lab that is turned in, and it is worth 10 points. 40% of those 10 points is based on completion. So if you complete the lab, so you follow all the steps, you fill in all the problems, no matter how correct it is, but you put in a valiant effort and you tried, you automatically gain 4 points. Then the remaining 6 points are based on correctness and how well you completed the questions, how well you answered the questions based on correctness. Then you can be docked for wrong answers.
okay,
So no matter what, you can't go below a 4.
If everything is
if
complete.
everything is complete, yes. And you can only go April before.
Okay, so what we're seeing here.
If yes.
So instead of Kate received so 10% off. She received a zero.
because the lowest grade you can receive is a 4 based on completion if the assignment is turned in complete and on time.
Okay, so
Which was not done, so I did not grade it for completion, for correctness at all. I put it to the side because it was not turned in.
Okay, so the best grade she could get, it could be only solely off her content, which could be only 60%. That's the best lab grade she can get. Am I correct there?
No. If it was turned in initially, like it was, with taped edges, it was complete in its entirety. That would be a 4. Let's say, which I didn't grade, but let's say she got everything correct. That would thus be another 6 points, at 100%.
Okay.
All 10 points. However, the taped edge would be docked half a point, giving her 9.5 on the overall submission. She submitted it, took it out, stapled it, and turned it in, but it was a minute or so late than the actual deadline, and therefore I did not grade it for completion or correctness. If I would have, then it would be as if it were turned in on time.
So Kate, when you took out the quiz, you couldn't have changed anything. Do you print these labs, or do you write them?
I print them.
Okay, so you wouldn't have been able to type anything new or anything like that.
No.
Okay. Do you think there's any way that instead of receiving the late grade, she could just get maybe the points that she would have gotten for just taping the edges?
Excuse me.
I think that's something Kate would have to discuss with me specifically on what she wants.
Okay.
I put a lot of work into it, so I think it's pretty good. So I feel confident in getting like half a point off.
Because you say you spend about 5 hours on these?
Yes.
Okay.
But would that be fair to the other students that turned their labs in according to the they were punctual and they were prepared? Would that be fair to the other students?
I'm still getting like half a point taken off, or I'm still getting punished in a way.
For the initial late turning in a lab late is a greater punishment than not having it turned in properly with the state.
Yeah, but if I get the grade, like the 0.5 taken off, still punishment. If I, and I don't really consider the lab being turned in late because, I turned it in on time. I just took it out and stapled it, and I didn't change anything. I still turned it in.
Okay. What I could suggest, this is between us right now, it is confidential. We could come up with an agreement that this stays confidential. Whatever's said in this conference room can stay in this conference room. So you're obviously worried about undermining your rules.
My professional and ethical standards being undermined by bending and compromising my clearly outlined rules.
You think by doing this that other students will look to enhance their grades?
Set a dangerous precedent.
Okay. Okay. Do you think if you sign a document saying that everything is confidential in here, that Kate cannot talk to her friends, talk to her colleagues about what happened if she did get the points back, if she does get to retake this test, if she violates that, then there could be punishment, or those points could be retaken back.
Right, I would appreciate a confidentiality agreement.
Okay, so you would be okay with giving those points back then if no
Which points?
the points for
The lab.
the lab, okay, and then the ability to retake the test.
Yeah.
Well, I think we already agreed upon the ability to retake the quiz
Okay.
test under reduced time with the option to earn back full credit. That would be kept confidential, obviously.
Okay, you want that confidential.
In terms of the lab, once again, I don't know the full amount of points she earned. I know she at least earned 4 out of the 10 points, and I know I will dock her at least half a point for the late improper / late turn. That being said, she would then, if she got everything incorrect, she would end up with a 3.5 out of 10 on that lab, would be the minimum grade she could earn. The maximum grade she'd be able to earn would be a 9.5.
Okay.
I would be willing to look at her performance on the lab and give her all possible points that she did earn if she can complete the lab correctly. However, I think there to show that she is willing to do this, I think the remaining 4 weeks of this term and part of next term as well, it would be beneficial for her and the science department if she became a lab helper.
Okay, so TA.
Not just the lab helper that sets up the labs for other classes prior
Okay.
to the.
I think I'm aware that these are paid positions. Do you want to help her get that job?
I would say that it would be unpaid and it would only be labs for my classes.
Okay.
I would have other teachers involved, professors involved, but it would only be labs for my classes, and I don't have too many labs, but and obviously there would be other lab members there setting up as well, but it'd be good experience for her, and it would allow her to even learn more and advance her knowledge and wealth of knowledge.
Okay. How long do your labs usually last? Kate, how long do you usually spend on labs?
Maybe like 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours, and this is once a week?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you have the time to?
Well, setting up labs is a lot shorter than actually.
Okay, so you just want her to set up labs, not sit in on the labs.
Setting up the Bunsen burners before class. Yeah.
Okay.
Is what I want to do. Getting the equipment out, getting the test tubes, putting them in the rack. Yeah, I'd say a normal lab usually takes about half hour to set up. It'd be 2 hours a week would be the total amount of time she probably put in between labs.
And this is just for the remainder of the term?
Remainder of this term.
So that's about 3 weeks of labs then?
This is Tuesday, week 6. I'd say she'd have to set up at least 1 lab before she would be allowed to take the quiz before Friday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you think your schedule would allow that?
3.5 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks.
And that's something you were willing to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So is she setting up all of your labs for the week, or just one per week?
I would say a total allotted time of 2 hours per week.
2 hours.
It varies by lab if we're doing more equipment. But no lab setup takes longer than 45 minutes, and she would not do more than one lab setup per day.
Okay.
So probably three to 4 a week, depending on the amount of time it takes for a lab setup. 3 to 4 per week.
You know, this seems like a significant amount of time. Do you think, with that being said, maybe Kate should be allowed for the quiz? Maybe Kate should be allowed more time then, since she's would be investing a good amount of time in the.
Well,
In the setup.
That depends on what Kate wants.
I mean, if I could have more time, that would be awesome. But
Okay.
I guess I do see 2 hours a week is especially on top of other things. If she's committed and you know is punctual to these events, obviously schedules pending and accordingly details can be sorted out later. Then she would have the ability to have the fully allotted time on the quiz for full credit, potential full credit if the quiz is correct in its entirety. Pending that she follows through with lab setups.
Okay. And then lastly, we have the lab report. You were saying the maximum she can get is a 9.5 and 95% versus the maximum she could get, which was a 90 right now. Is that correct?
Mhm.
So with it being late, did she get none of the 4 points?
Right, because it was late, I did not grade it at all.
Okay, so we're looking at a difference of 3.5 points, basically.
We're looking at a possibility maximum of 9.5 points or a minimum of 3.5 points. So you're looking at a difference of 6 points depending.
Okay.
And I'm willing to grade it in its entirety. I'm willing to give her the 4 for completion
Okay.
and then grade it for correctness. And if she gets everything correct, the maximum she will get is a 9.5. If she gets nothing correct, she will still be docked a 0.5.
Okay, do you feel that that's fair?
And the lab is weighted more heavily toward the final grade. So any amount of points for this would be more beneficial than nothing.
What grade, pending the grading of the content of the lab, what grade do you think Kate would probably be getting towards the end of the term?
I have no idea. That would be depending on how well she does on the quiz. If she earned all possible points, all 10 on the quiz test, and the maximum 9.5 on the lab, or 75% in the class right now would be a mid be about 83.5 to 84%.
Okay.
Numbers off the top of my head, roughly.
Kate, what would you, given your other classes, what kind of grade are you really seeking from this chemistry class?
at least like a B.
Okay.
At least a B plus at least.
A B plus.
If I could get an A, that would be perfect.
Did you say you were open to extra credit opportunities?
Possibly that'd be something to discuss later. I think the willingness of me to give her the opportunity to earn back those points that she missed prior to this mediation is very fair. And then there are 3.5 to 4 weeks left in the term with an abundance of points still available. Which if she were to get an 84 after these makeups, it'd be very possible for her to earn an A if she works sports.
Okay.
So that being said, I don't think extra credit is something to discuss at this moment.
Okay. Alright. Okay, you're okay with that? Okay. So, just to recap, Kate's going to take the quiz before Friday at the full amount of time, and she's going to get those lab points back. Maximum she can get now is 9.5 versus 3.5, correct? Okay. For this, Kate will set up labs for the rest of the term at a maximum of two hours per week. Okay. Okay, you're okay with this?
Mhm.
Alright. So I'm going to make a memorandum of understanding so that we know everything here is confidential. So okay, you cannot tell any other students or faculty members about the agreement that is in place here, mainly because Dr. Jankowski doesn't want to undermine his rules of discipline. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, if I could have you sign right there. And Dr. Jankowski, have you sign right there. All right. I'm glad we could come to an agreement that seems fair for both parties. If there's anything you need from me for farther down the road, this term or within the year, your undergraduate studies here at North Central, I'm definitely available for the both of you. And, is there anything else you guys would like to discuss before our time's up? All right. Well, thank you. I'll walk you guys out.
It's probably about 1:05.
Yeah, we're